So here we are, game number 1. As I am clicking random things randomly, not very good. Anyway, we are going into game number 1 here. It is a best of 1 game. Do let me know whether or not the sound is all good and things like that. I'm going to try and adjust it on the fly if need be. But anyway, let's introduce these two players. Spawning up to the top right hand position, we've got the blue Protoss player representing alternate. It is KnowMe. And his opponent, down to the lower left, the yellow Zerg player representing Alien Invasion, we have Golden. So, a good little bit of fun. Golden up against KnowMe in some PvZ. Overgrowth is a great map for it as well. I'm super excited to see just how this is going to go, if I'm honest, because I think it should be very exciting. KnowMe is a former Grandmaster player. He's not GM this season, to my knowledge, but still, should be a very, very good game coming down from these two. Meanwhile, just a gateway coming down at the moment, so a perfectly normal gate expand coming out from KnowMe. This is basically the standard opening. You can go for a forge expansion on this map with these pipes. It's possible to do, but in a best of 1 game, you usually don't want to go for something too risky, especially up against a player of Golden's caliber. Playing it safe is probably a much smarter move early on. So Golden, on the other hand, he's playing a bit more risky, going hatch first. Not necessarily a problem. He may decide to go a hatch pull. It's a very common opening. It's incredibly strong up against a gateway expand. But for the moment, it hasn't been scouted. Should now be known. But note the forge coming down by KnowMe. This opens up the potential to get a little bit aggressive. He does have a probe across the map, but it's getting chased away by a drone. So gonna have to make sure that he keeps a good check on that, where it's going, what it's doing. Because cannon rushes are always going to be a threat. The double pylon comes down. The other side, though, is exposed. Trying to quickly get it through, but Golden manages to get a drone in position. Prevents another pylon coming in. Prevents the complete wall off. But still, these drones are going to have a bit of a tough time. In they come. If the probe dies, that's where the problems come for KnowMe. He's frantically trying to get into a good position. The cannon is getting placed. 2 cannons in position, but the probe now stuck. The drones racking up that damage against them. More drones being pulled. Golden is just in crisis management mode at the moment, and due to the probe getting stuck, those 2 cannons were cancelled. What's this? A gateway getting thrown down. This is a big move, but unfortunately there is still a gap for the drone, so it's not going to help too much else. KnowMe committing very heavily to this, and straight away we're seeing some fun times. Second probe coming in, going to be trying to continue where the last one left off. This is causing a lot of lost mining times, so even though KnowMe is committing a lot of resources, he may have just done it. Only 1 drone inside here. Instantly gets the cannon coming down. Spinecaller gets started. Second cannon coming through. This probe is a right hero. Sacrifices in order to get those 2 cannons out. With the pylon coming down with this gateway blocking things up, the cannons will complete. A Spinecaller on the way through though. A lot of Lings also going to be trying to get some more damage. 2 more spines finishing up. Golden does not want to lose this base. That is key right now. He needs to make sure he keeps this up. And with the spines, he's going to make a good shot at doing it. But KnowMe, he's done some nice damage, but he's spent such a huge amount achieving this. And let's not really put that down. This is a big investment, like absolutely giant. He's invested a gateway, 2 cannons, 3 pylons to kill off a hatch. Couple of lava get taken out. That Spinecaller gonna back away to safety. Just manages to get out of there. And these 2 cannons still being a pain. This gateway actually doubling up as a bit of a proxy pressure, as we do have a Zealot now coming through. This is going to just try and aid this damage up against these spines, which are starting to burrow up nice and quick. The spine in the back going to be able to thwart any attempt by those Zealots to move in anytime soon. But with this burrow up position, the spines making their work shown. 1 cannon remaining, these spines all trying to burrow up. There is the single Ling, but it gets surrounded quite quickly. Not before the Zealot is able to take down one of those spines. The second spine also getting pretty damn low. The spine to the left working away at the pylons. But remember, that pylon is not going to depower the cannon. There's still 2 more there. But it will allow the Lings to get in. Golden successfully defending this, despite the cannons getting up and the complete wall off of them being able to get achieved. And Golden keeps his natural base. This game is still not over though, because let's not forget, both players invested a huge amount in this, and while Golden was able to defend, he took significant losses. He had to make 4 Spinecrawlers, a lot of Lings, not to mention a whole heap of lost mining time. Overall though, I suspect it was KnowMe who came off a bit worse. putting the gateway down, putting the 3 pylons, 2 cannons. It's a big investment. Behind this, KnowMe is now going up for the +1. He's adding in his warp gate tech, but with the natural base only just starting at 7.5 minutes, it is a very late timing. These zealots that are now at the front watchtower have got their work cut out. They need to make sure that they thwart any attempt at a counterattack. They've got to make sure that they're able to keep KnowMe secure so he can get his economy going, because all in all, he's not that far behind. The drone count is only 28 to 23. But Golden investing now a lot of minerals into into lings. So minerals, lava, all going into offensive units to try and force a cancel of this natural nexus. But with now 5 zealots marching up towards Golden's natural base, this spine and the lings are going to be basically held back for quite a while actually. The spine really going to help though. With the surround, these lings are going to get quite a bit of damage. KnowMe trying to micro it back, but actually missing quite a few shots. Should be able to deal with the majority of these zerglings though, while 3 zealots survive. And this means that KnowMe is able to hold his natural base. Sitting in quite a good spot at the moment. Both players not really where they'd want to be at this stage. And don't forget, KnowMe made those zealots out of just the gateway. It's not like he sacrificed anything else in order to get them. Whereas Golden sacrificed a lot of drone production in order to start making these lings. They didn't achieve their aim, which was to take out the natural base. So all in all, KnowMe did do a little to stabilize there, but is now mixing things up a lot. A double Stargate play coming through. Is it going to get scouted? The lings have breached the main base. They're going up and in. They see both of these Stargates. And regardless, there were already spores coming down just in case of Dark Templar. Because we all know, when behind, you Dark Shrine. Photon Overcharge coming in the main base. Going to be able to clear out the remainder of these speedlings, especially with the aid of a couple of units. So that Mothership Core energy getting spent very early on just 4 lings means that it's not going to have any energy when all of these lings come over. They're going to have speed as well. That's 10 seconds away from completion. So this wall off at the front going to become essential to holding this position. 1 sentry is in the army comp, but not moving down yet. It's going to just stay back at home in order to get that wall off down. The zealots get the first few shots off, which is actually surprisingly helpful. The sentry needs to be able to force field. It can force field if required. Actually, no, it couldn't. It didn't have enough energy. Wow, okay. That was quite lucky then. The zealots did manage to get those first few shots off. Golden, heavily droning. He's got his 3rd base up and running, adding in a couple of spore callers there. Meanwhile, the double Stargate are doing nothing but producing oracles. KnowMe going through a lot of harassment damage. But don't forget, there are spores at every base. That's going to help fend this off, but with only 1 spore, and now 3 oracles on their way across, it's a lot of potential damage output. The 3rd base will lose its queen. The spore caller getting a bit of damage done, but the drone line is not protected as of yet. With the zealots coming through, they need to try and focus down the spore if possible, but the mothership core has to back on out just for the time being. The spore caller is taking a lot of damage, more zealots pushing on through, and Golden is being forced to produce an awful lot of lings. And he's only got zerglings at the moment. Despite having quite a lot of time, no Rotron. He's gone straight up into the Hydra Den. But still able to hold for the moment. The Oracle count sitting at 3, the 3rd one now joining the rest of the army. But Golden preparing for a counterattack. A lot of zerglings coming across the map, heading straight towards this natural, where there is very little in order to defend. But all importantly, there is the sentry. That means force fields available thanks to a decent amount of energy there. So this is going to be probably an okay hold for KnowMe. Losing a couple of zealots here, probably unnecessarily, moving those out very far forward. This probe is just literally dodging death. Has been noticed. I was going to say, if that survived, it would have been a bit of a miracle. Meanwhile, the counterattack, we've got a lot of oracles coming in here, dealing actually surprisingly well. They're taking out a lot of stuff. There is another 2 spores though in the mineral line, so they're not going to get much else done there. But they were able to kill a spore caller at the front, and they were also able to pick off a good few hydralisks. This mass oracle composition is something that I've not too often seen. So it's going to be interesting to see how Golden tries to defend against it. He does have 11 hydralisks in production with 5 already on the map. But the damage output of these oracles is just incredibly high. Like, the damage they can do so incredibly quickly is terrifying, especially if they're teamed up with a decent number of zealots on the ground, because then the hydras are going to get locked up, and that could cause them some difficulties. We've got the +1 air armor upgrade coming through. That's the first air upgrade, no attack. So these oracles going to be looking to get some more damage. There is in total now, how many's on the map? There is 7 on the map, which is pretty crazy. No more in production, but a counter-attack coming through from Golden. And this is a big investment push. He's got a lot of Hydras and a lot of Zerglings. His aim, prevent a third. He knows he's got his own third base up. Pushing in, trying to get a bit more damage through, but these Oracles going to close up the distance very fast. They take an absolute shredding, though, from the Hydralisks. They might be able to dish out a lot of damage, Oracles, but they cannot take it. The Zealots trying to close up the gap as well, but the Oracle's just not able to fight against this many Hydras efficiently. The Hydralisks focusing them down, taking some damage from the Zealots in return, but that is an okay trade. More Oracles being produced, despite the number of Hydralisks already on the field. And unfortunately for KnowMe, things starting to look quite tough. Golden doesn't have enough units here to push through as of yet, but look at the production tab. He's got a lot more Hydras, a lot more Zerglings, all coming through. Nice little takedown here. We do have the Oracles moving back through. Against a small group of Hydralisks, they're actually faring very well, able to pick them off incredibly quickly. But more units flooding in. KnowMe's not yet reached the critical mass of unit he needs in order to stop this kind of never-ending siege, especially with a lot of Lings. But he does have his third base, nearly finished. He's able to hold that for now. But look at Golden, he's just rallying across the map. More Lings, more Hydras. He is completely aware that his opponent has no sign of any splash damage and wants to capitalize on that with these high DPS squishy units. Couple more Oracles getting taken down now by those Hydras. They're trying to go head to head, but the Oracle's not going to win that fight. Lots of Lings breach into the natural, getting a lot of damage. GG is called, and despite an interesting strategy, Golden, defending that early cannon rush well, is able to take the game and will advance forward into the next round.